Hey everybody, welcome back to Play Casket with your host, Paraka the Goblin, and
Ghost, your co-host.
And this is the beginning of the new year, and we're going to go ahead and kind of reflect back at what we've done. At this time of the recording, when we actually get this posted, it's been about a year since we actually started this project, getting everything together and all that, and started getting stuff posted.
A re-retrospective, I guess?
A retrospective of what's gone on this past year for us as we started this little journey in this mausoleum here, because there's nothing else to do. But also talk about our video game experiences, our nerd experiences, and what do we look forward to this coming year. I'll go ahead and let you go and start off first. Like, what's one of the things that you experienced in the past year? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, after so many recordings of this now, it's really nice to be able to... It's nice feeling comfortable to talk to you guys now, so... But, I mean, for gaming experiences, though, I think playing... What is it? Just this year, just getting into Halo Infinite, or Halo Infinite really taught me how to appreciate the Halo series. So I kind of went back and dug into the Master Chief Collection and stomped through all that just before playing Halo, and I've really learned how to really play Halo. I can see the appeal to the game. So.
And then there's on top of that too, if you wanted to get into like the lore, there is a gigaton of fucking books.
Yeah.
Dear God. It's very similar to like World of Warcraft now. Like most of the major plot points are in books now. So it's one of those like I don't have to actually play the game anymore to understand what other things are going to damage. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
What about you? What do you feel?
Actually, one of the first things that I feel like I really enjoyed this year was Pokemon Snap.
Okay.
Not only has it been very nostalgic of a wait for it, but the fact that they were actually able to add so many more, because when you think about it, the original game came out when only the original 150 were there. That's kind of crazy with how many I was still expecting more in them. Like, you have such a plethora of Pokemon. I was expecting way more that were going to be in it, right? Or even more biomes. But they didn't do more biomes as much as I was expecting to do. But they did have other ways to kind of encourage some Pokemon out there. One of my only small letdowns is that you couldn't force evolve anyone. Like, there was ways where you could get a... Slowpoke to fish out a Shelder and turn into a Slowbro in the original game, and there's none of that type of thing here. Mm-hmm. So it's actually kind of sad in a way, because I kind of wanted a something to that point where you can lure like an Eevee to a Firestone and get it to evolve or something to that point. You know.
Oh, okay.
I thought that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like something to that point that would have been very unique. I think doing some kind of moonstone based thing, like in a open mountain range at night or something like that, would have been neat, but it is what it is. But for the functionality and the true intent of the experience and stuff, it was actually pretty amusing. A lot of the characters were pretty fun. The overall, like, you can even like do one where you walk around the main lobby that's just like the intro title screen. You can walk around there and take pictures too. I thought that was kind of adorable. But there was some little crazy shenanigans in some of the Pokemon interactions and stuff. And I thought overall, I think they did an amazing job on overall.
Okay. As for another game, I would say, I guess I'm going over the ones that we covered in the last episode, but whatever.
We have the special episodes just a giant jab on everything. So it was a fun thing we're doing, but this is more serious and down to earth.
I would say Ultra Kill was kind of a nice thing. I know. I finally went back and played it with the mouse and keyboard. They'll put controller in there in one day. Just you wait. But
if you need auto aiming,
screw it. It's fun. I don't want to hover over my mouse and keyboard and play. So I like to sit back with my controller. But no, that's a freaking awesome game though, and I really enjoyed it. Although I guess I got to go back and play it on normal. So I'm still learning. But no, it's a great game, and it's like an arena shooter, and like each you go to the next stage and then you kill something and you go to the next room and you kill everything and then you go to the next room and you kill everything. So, but they do it really well. It's like super fast paced and you try to maximize your damage because you can move as you do damage. It's a really cool game. Pick it up if you get a chance.
A lot of my stuff's going to be very Switch based, namely because that's the only thing I really have true access to all the time because of all the work we've been doing on trying to improve this podcast project and everything else. We do have some projects coming down the line. So I'm just going to give people a heads up. My list isn't going to be as varied and exciting for people who don't own a Switch. One of my other gaming experiences I really liked was No More Heroes 3. It does feel like it's kind of like a cap off of the legacy of Travis Touchdown. Mm-hmm. I do think Suda51 will probably just walk away from him, but I do think the company may not be done with him. Because if this game becomes as popular as it is, like apparently it was actually selling pretty high. I don't know the whole story yet, so we'll find out if they sold more than 2. But it really did cap off and just like took it to another insane level. Where the first 2, like basically you kill off other assassins, become the top assassin, and then 2 is basically assassins try to hunt you down instead as opposed. And then there was the Travis Strikes Again, which was you get sucked into a video game, and this is a bunch of mini games basically. 3 was basically motherfucking space aliens now come down, and they're apparently a hero agency, so they're actual heroes. So you have to kill them. So there's no more heroes, which like the title actually came to be. Like that was kind of an interesting little fact, right?
Finally, it's not just English
anymore. Yeah, but you gotta think some of these English ones like kind of work very well. Like even visual novels, like as terrible as visual novels also always are, they have some of the coolest fucking names. Like one of them's called Cupid Parasite. How the hell does that not sound awesome? Yeah. Like, you know, like I don't know what to make out of that. That just sounds like a first-person shooter that was like a little wacky, but still sounds pretty awesome.
Oh, okay.
So you know, but I do hope to see more of Travis Touchdown in the future, but it does feel like without Suda51, I'm not sure if Grasshopper Studio wants to continue that or not, but.
No, okay.
If it's going to be a big, huge flagship title, I could see them trying to make that more. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's still up in the air. So it's really kind of curious. It's kind of sobering when you play a game that's been told this is the end, and it actually ends in a way that, like, it's going to be hard to continue. If that makes sense?
No, okay, I got you.
So,
as for me, a game I picked up this year, the game's 6 years old, but. I went back to go play Bloodborne finally since I dug it up, and yeah, I like it a lot. The only reason why I kind of stopped was I couldn't figure out what to do after I beat that electric beast. So now that like I've had a chance to really play it, I really learned how to master how to riposte and like parry with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So really understand how to play that, and. Yeah, it's super skill based. You can't just level up and tank everything. It's all about skill. You got to learn how to really watch their movement, learn to parry, and then kill it. So, oh man, I can't wait to go back to play it. It's so good. But bring it to PC. Holy crap! It's been 6 years now. Give us a PC version.
And it's really honestly, I think doing a lot of. Like just even if you experience an old game this year, I still think it's kind of worth it. We're not doing a Game Awards thing. There's no stipulation stuff. There's some stuff.
Yeah, plus 2021 was
there's some
dry.
Stuff. And there was some stuff that you just couldn't get around to.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's anything that's a highlight for me. That's me revisiting an old game. Like there was games that I purposely bought, like old games that were like 64 games, like kind of like Turok, Episode 1 Racer and stuff like that. Like I love those games, but it's not like a huge surprise. It's not a big thing about me. It's nostalgia. I bought it for nostalgia. I bought Blood Rain for nostalgia's sake. It's not going to play very well. It's not going to look very well, but I know I'm going to play it for nostalgia's sake. But it's not something I want to list up.
Yeah.
I think the last thing that kind of really stood out for me is actually Disgaea 6, and for a couple reasons. One of them, it's one of the first 3D Disgaea games, so like there's actual full models and stuff like that. The game still kind of plays pretty much the same as you always expect it to. They amped up the levels.
Yeah.
Like they made a huge new level cap, but in the same time, they actually even amped up how fast you level. So you're actually getting more levels the more you play, which is more of a visual stimulus to say that you're progressing without just grinding out 1,100,000,000 experience just to get one level.
Yeah.
Like you're still getting those levels. So basically, they did nothing except for adjusting how ridiculous the numbers are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very in line with how Disgaea is.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious. The thing that really makes it curious is because it's an exclusive to Nintendo, right? And now I don't think it's going to stay that way. Like
Is it on PC?
I don't know. And it was a timed exclusive as far as like being on anything else, because I know it was exclusive on the Nintendo Switch. It could have gone to PC since then, but I haven't been paying attention to that since my experience. But I do think them being exclusive with Nintendo, I feel like Nippon Ichi Software is actually. I feel like there's been rumors that they've been getting buddy with Nintendo to get kind of closer to, I'm not sure if it's projects or maybe because they are having financial struggles in Japan. Maybe they're looking at selling off their North American publishing front and moving into Nintendo, basically.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
That would be very well. If you ever and there might. I'm not saying this is evidence to that happening, but I feel like it helps support that theory.
Yeah. Like
it could easily be wrong, right? But I think this might actually be a situation that this is a possible path for them to happen. So it's something I want to walk, keep an eye on, right? But Nintendo does have a habit of buying certain companies that don't really have much of a backlog.
Mm-hmm.
And Nippon Ichi Software, as a company, doesn't really have that much of a backlog.
Yeah, but you buy up talent.
That's what they do. Like Next Level, they just bought up Next Level. Next Level doesn't have anything under their belt that goes with them. A lot of it without Nintendo. If they ignore Nintendo projects and you just go to any non-Nintendo projects, it was a lot of NASCAR games. They don't own NASCAR. NASCAR doesn't go with them. They just made a bunch of NASCAR games, and that was just basically what paid for them. And because of that, Nintendo probably bought them without needing to worry about any other IP overhead. But that doesn't stop them from buying other ones that are like that. There's a possibility. And Nippon Ichi Software could be about that thing. Okay. Like, they would probably come up with Poison Control, which is a recent game they released. Labyrinth of Refrain and Disgaea.
Mash them in with the Fire Emblem team. Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't think that would work out very well. I do think Disgaea has a different style of tactics RPG than Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
that's like trying to merge New Super Mario Brothers 2D side scroller with Donkey Kong Country Returns,
or Street Fighter with Tekken.
That's horrible. Who would ever thought of that?
Well, I think
what's really next? They're gonna add some kind of like slot stat machine in it and stuff.
Holy shit, man! That's such a shit show.
That was horrible. The music was amazing, though.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The music was bombing. I still have a lot of that. But yeah, no, that's the stuff I've experienced in the back, and I'm actually really curious to see what Nippon Ichi Software as a development company, not the localization company. The localization company is kind of like a love-hate relationship with.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious what they're gonna do, as a development company, if in fact this theory is actually there's more truth to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, but we could also kind of look forward to what's going on in this next year. What's coming up in this year that we're kind of looking forward to and such like that.
Elden Ring. Holy shit. Oh, man.
How about anything non-Elden Ring?
Ring of Elden? Right.
Oh, okay.
George R. Martin and Miyazaki. Right. Oh, man. Like, just seeing, like, Vati Vidya play it, or, like, some of the was it the server test?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, like it looks like it combined everything of magic and strength. Like the way you're supposed to play Dark Souls, it doesn't play that way anymore. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play it because the way they built Dark Souls is they punish you for using magic because they're like, oh, you're not supposed to stay far away and pick things off. You're not supposed to play it that way. Well, Elden Ring just goes balls to walls, like, yeah, use whatever you want. And yeah, it looks so good though.
Yeah, and I did watch a bit of it too. But I am very cautious, and I understand there's a lot of people.
Always.
There's a lot of people out there like, oh well, this is From Software. You don't understand that From Software is gonna do this.
Look at Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2.
I was like,
shit.
dude, we've seen so much. We even had people who were like huge Assassin's Creed gurus make horrible mistakes with Watch Dogs and stuff, and then they make all these, like, they front load a development experience, so you that one level that's like, oh man, I can't wait to buy that game, then it becomes 80% more hallways like later on because they didn't really do it. And I feel like, until it releases, like, I'm not gonna be worried about missing out on Elden Ring, because Elden Ring's gonna be everywhere. Okay.
Well, yeah,
like,
the jank tends to bleed through. Like, even playing through Halo 1,
mm-hmm.
everybody's praising how good it is, and then you get to like the last part of it and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, the jank starts to bleed through. This is what
mm-hmm. So even when it gets released, it's not like I have to get it. It's not one of those rare games. It's going to be kind of disappearing and stuff like that. It's not something that I have to truly experience. But it's just, I'm going to just wait until it gets released and see what it is.
Yeah. Dark Souls 2 did the same thing too. When you see the E3 trailers,
mm-hmm.
it looks phenomenal, and then you get the game in your hand, you're like, what the hell is this? Like,
yeah, so I'm not going to knock on anybody who's hyped for it. Like, I could definitely see why everybody's hyped for it, right?
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. But curb that enthusiasm until it comes out, and then once you realize it's more beyond that experience, then go balls to the wall excited for it.
Okay.
Like, that's legitimately how I feel about it. But always keep in check, Like, sometimes if you're very pissed off that it could just be on you,
Yeah.
But for me, looking forward, there's a couple. I'm going to go ahead and just do the one that's going to be out relatively soon, which is the Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Okay.
And again, another two reasons. One, I do feel like Pokemon Sword and Shield was a lot of experimentary nonsense for Pokemon Company and Game Freak, and that doesn't excuse them for really sending out a really shoddy product out first. They did release DLC and kind of fixed a lot of problems, and I actually went back into it, and I'm experiencing it not too bad. That's not that bad. I do think it could have been way better. I do not think it topped the previous games. I do think it just got to a point where it was you can accept it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's not something we should just have. I do think Arceus is all those experiments put to task.
Okay.
I do feel like the wild area was kind of like their way to wonder if we could do something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And I do think, though, Pokemon where you could track down certain Pokemon in the wild on Sword and Shield was their experiment in Go originally, and they put it in Sword and Shield to put it to task. I think that was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm really curious of how Legends is going to roll out. I'm actually kind of excited to play it and stuff, but I'm actually really curious is if this succeeds, just blows it out of the water, we might see the Legends as a series.
Yeah.
Right? And if that happens, who would be next? And then, this is just the first game, so there's no pattern to go off of. People are just assuming that they're all going to be origin stories. I don't think so. I do think we could actually have a modern day, quote unquote, modern day Pokemon that's just going to a place that's uninhabited, really, just because it's too wild of a Pokemon area to track down Mewtwo, because his origin story was technically in Red and Blue.
Yeah.
That was his origin story. But that doesn't mean the Legends Mewtwo would be about his other origin. It could just be them tracking down where he went.
Okay.
It's just an interesting concept. Yeah. So I'm really curious of where they can go, because they could literally go anywhere. There's no pattern for them to kind of build off of.
Yeah.
You know, it's just easier to do the origin story so you're not overlapping and overstepping some bounds. But if you just go north of Kanto to some secluded area that doesn't really cover anything, you can easily do that.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the one thing I'm going to do. How about you? Any other ones?
That I hope to see in
2022.
22. Xenoblade X for Switch. Please,
an actual port. I've been hearing mixed things. Like I've been hearing like a port plus, basically like port with some extra content, like some kind of post game content and stuff.
Yeah, because we got the first one, right?
We got the first one. We got the definitive edition with some extra content and stuff.
Cut stuff, yeah.
I could see that happening. I don't see it being remade though. I could see them just porting it.
Lazy.
And
I don't want it then.
No, it's just you. Shut. You are a liar. You are a liar. You lie. I can see right through you. You're semi-transparent all the time anyway. This is really bad look for you.
I'm turning invisible. You can't see me now.
You can't leave here.
Neither can you. So, ha. Right.
So, but no, like, I could see that though. I could literally see I do think that it'll probably be a port though. Port plus.
Oh,
so they'll fix some stuff. They'll probably add some extra content, and it'll probably like run better.
Oh, just give us the definitive edition love. Give us like all the cool shit and cut content, because even the ending kind of like left off on a cliffhanger. That maybe there's a part 2.
Well, it might be a part 2, or they just might add some like post game story content.
But I do like how they do. Xenoblade does fit the title too, so it's not just English. So
yeah, and I'm really curious, like if Xenoblade X like becomes a weird sub-series that kind of like underpins the connections between 1 and 2, which I'm not gonna get into because it's a spoiler thing.
Technically it does though. Technically it does.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's probably gonna underpin, kind of like build underneath all of it, and kind of I could see them using the X series kind of make excuses for Xenoblade 3 and onwards, like for other reasons. You know, like it's not gonna intertwine. Like I could see them making a 3 that doesn't intertwine with the other 2, but has a connection to the other 2 for the reasons. Who knows? You know? But I could see that. I can definitely see that.
Okay.
I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm probably gonna see that. I'm really curious to see Platonic's Yooka-Laylee 2.
They're really gonna do it?
Yep, they've announced that they're developing the full sequel, the quote unquote full sequel of the original Yooka-Laylee. Okay. So I'm really curious of it. Hopefully they fix some of the problems I had of it. Like that was some griefs we actually mentioned about in the 3D platformer episode.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious of what they're gonna do. However, because they had a controlling stake bought up by Tencent, it's not looking good for Platonic. No. Rest in peace, Platonic.
F in the chat,
boys. Platonic may not ever survive this.
Ooh.
And we gotta wonder how many people who work at Platonic used to work at Rare left because they didn't want totalitarian control, but then they end up getting bought up by Tencent.
Oh man. For them to split
how
off
do
again.
You guys feel about that right now? You guys need to get off that boat right now.
Oh man.
Make another one. Make your company called Just Eyeballs, and that's what you do. You just make games with eyeballs on all inanimate objects, and they're just characters now. Just
before you get bought up and you split
a 3D platform starring a broom. Let's do that. Do that thing. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, no, that's. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what it looks like, but Tencent is involved, and I don't like that. Bad mojo bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So, what about anything else? Anything else you're looking at?
I think that's looking pretty good, actually. So, I'm still excited for Elden Ring. That's like the one thing I'm super hyped about.
I don't care about anything else. There is. I'm going to say one thing. There is one thing I want to see, and it's more out of a morbid curiosity than me being actually excited about stuff, is BlizzCon. BlizzCon's been bumped into these next years, and they've been doing an all-digital thing, and they've been doing the cringiest all-digital things they have ever done.
It'll be 2022.
It is just horrible.
2022, we'll all have phones this time.
Oh my God, we'll all have phones. We won't have Diablo, but we will all have phones. But
well, to be fair though, it was kind of them just trying to like banter for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, people took it the wrong way, which something they shouldn't have done. But it was kind of like
the stupidest thing. The stupidest thing is they had development for future Diablo games, and not just 4. I do think they have something else in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it's an MMO or anything like that. I remember when World of Warcraft came out, everybody wanted World of StarCraft, World of Diablo, World of everything, because they thought World of Warcraft was going to die every single fucking expansion. But I do think that there's other projects out there. I don't think it's just a mobile game and stuff, but they had that stuff developed. They could have just we understand that this might not be the most exciting news and announcements this year, but we promise you, bigger will come. And if he just says that and just have the shadow of the old Diablo 2 logo or Diablo from Diablo 2, just that silhouette behind him and him walk away, nobody would have said shit about that thing. Nobody would have said anything about. They would just what? I don't care about the mobile game anymore. What was that? You would have more coverage about people just picking apart that silhouette for fucking years before they were able. You could have just sat on that for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't. They just sat there and did, this is all we're gonna do, and that was the worst possible thing you could have done. They knew they didn't have much to sell, and they knew they pitched Diablo a little too high that year. Mm-hmm. All they had to do, literally all they had to do, was tease that we do have more, and we recognize that this is not the thing you wanted. Just them saying that we had something bigger tells those people that we hear you without telling them that they directly hear them.
Yeah.
So that's the nightmare that I want to see. I want to see that giant cringe finish, because something's going to come out of it that's going to be really bad. It's going to be we need representation for lizard people, because lizard people are people too. It doesn't matter if they eat your child. That's just their nature. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be stupidly cringe, and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be this is actually kind of on the dark, it's going to be on levels that only the dark side of TikTok will have.
Yeah.
It is going to be that bad. Because you're bad at games now, Blizzard.
Wah, wah.
But we're going to try to wrap this up with one little segment more. Is what's your biggest hope? Something that you don't know could be announced or anything else. What do you want to see this next year?
I don't know. More Game & Watch. I love that.
more Game & Watch ones? Who else has a 35th anniversary right now? Kirby? No. Kirby's still not that old yet.
What about
Kirby's
the
maybe
GBA?
on 35.
Oh, a new GBA, yeah.
GBA Mini.
Micro, yeah. I would get on the news for that.
Doing so many heinous stuff. I could see that. I honestly could see that eventually. Just have it's built-in red and blue with some kind of wireless technology in it. That'd be hilarious. People just just spaz out over just that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Game Boy Color with everything built into it. Oh my god, people would murder each other for one.
Yeah, I could see that. A lot of people wanted to murder each other for the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah.
So, but I could see that happen. But I honestly just hope that Nintendo will one day just kind of package some of their older games together in compilations and stuff, mm-hmm. and just release it as a physical and digital, just those the NES the premium collection, whatever, volume 1, and it has just Mario 1, 2, and 3, and has Duck Hunt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To that point.
Probably not. They're probably going to want you to keep buying their online service, so.
Yeah, and honestly, it's obviously working for a lot of people. I still have a 64 that has all the games that they have on it, so I'm not doing the expansion pack like most people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could see them doing something to that point. I just hope that they don't. My biggest hope, and I know it's not going to be, it's such a non-issue because nobody else plays them. Nobody else played them before. Is I do want either ports or remakes or something to that point of Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2.
Oh, I wish.
It's not something I do not see From Software ever doing that ever.
Yeah, they're swimming in the Dark Souls money. They don't do shit anymore.
Yeah, they're in Dark Souls money. They'll probably do Armored Core again because that was something that used to make them a lot of money, and they'll probably just dump that.
Armored Core's so bad now.
But It's a lost cause, but that is something I do hope to see one day. Like, it's just all I want is a port. Like, just up-res everything and just do that. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Port that out. I'm good.
Yeah.
I will buy that. $60, fine. I will still buy it. But that's my biggest hope. But I would like to thank you all guys, literally, honestly, for supporting us for this last year. You know, even though it is very few of you now.
We love you all. We love you all.
You guys been great. And I hope to see you guys in the future, and maybe if you want, bring some friends. But I would like to say thank you guys all for listening, and we will see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.